I've spent the last 20 years leading multi-organizational, multicultural teams on 3 continents across various industries. And in that time, I spent my best energy and my deepest attention on developing the leaders around me. In this series, I'm going to offer some thoughts on leadership, taken from reflections on how people have led in different ways at different times through this coronavirus pandemic. Lesson number 1, be transparent. In the very beginning of this, and now we're finding out all along the way, if China had just been transparent, we would not be in the situation we are in right now. We literally would not be in a global lockdown, suffering the worst pandemic in our memories. In my book, vulnerability and transparency are 2 of the most important character traits of a trustworthy leader. I've had leaders say to me in the past that Jesus was intentionally not transparent. They reference that moment in the Gospels where Jesus did not explain himself to the people because he knew what was in men's hearts. And they'll use that as a proof text to justify their need to control how they are perceived. They get confused about what the outcome of their leadership is supposed to be. They seem to honestly think that the outcome of their leadership is supposed to be not being perceived as a failure. But there's another far more applicable passage in the New Testament, in the Gospels, about Jesus' leadership. It's when he is brought up on charges, and the way he answers is simply this: I was in the temple every day teaching. Everything I have to say I have said in the public, I have said it in the light. That's transparency, where we don't hide. Now, there's a very big difference between bringing all the groceries out every single time, putting everything on the table in every possible situation, and not hiding stuff that people need to know. Being more concerned about what people see than you are about what's real. I can think of 2 examples from the last decade. I've interacted once with a leader. He had warned his direct reports that the people above him were going to see the outcome of one of their annual reviews. And he wanted that person to understand that they should really work hard to protect the image of that particular working group. Another leader that I know was falsely accused of mismanagement of personnel. And instead of doing anything about this accusation at all, he simply kicked it up the chain to the people above him and asked them, could you please investigate me? If I am in fact mismanaging personnel, I need to be removed or corrected. And if I am not, I don't need to be the person that cleans this up. That kind of transparency created a situation where all the people on the team could find their way to deeper health. And that's kind of the thing about transparency. When leaders are transparent, they protect their communities from the sicknesses that already live inside. The illnesses inside a community can become catastrophic if leaders insist on not being transparent. Be transparent.